right? Her homegirl.
Yeah.
So one of her homegirl's homies was over there chilling the other day. This little regular ass Mexican looking nigga, like he's a eighth degree something in jujitsu, and I'm like, I would see him somewhere like, nigga, I'll beat your ass,
Yeah.
and he'll flip my shit up. You know what I'm saying?
You just don't know.
You don't know, so I just keep it respectful.
I was working on a show, and I went into the office, and Chris Rock's brother walked into the office. Yeah.
Okay.
And he looked at me and said, "What's up, brother?" And then he stopped, and he was like, "Bro, what you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm working, man, right?" And this is in the middle of the production office. He said, "Man, do they know who you are?"
That's how I be feeling. That's how I felt when I seen you.
Know. They know.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, good morning, man. We're here with this little, not leaving little, man, because I feel like I hear like you hear rappers be like, oh, well, I dropped this project for me. Yeah. I'm doing this for me. I don't care what it sells. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that right now because I feel like growing up in LA, you don't have to be a gang member to be immersed in gang culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could be a non-affiliate pushing through and shit will still happen to you just because of where you at.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You can be a straight civilian and get caught up.
Factuals. So that's how I felt about it. And I never forget, bro. I never forget how I even came to know about you, right? I'm sitting in English class. I'm going to Mount Vernon Junior High. My teacher's name is Miss Zazniak. And I've always been really good in English and stuff, so wasn't really paying attention. And my homegirl sitting diagonally right here. She has your brother's book open, right? And all I see is this swole nigga on the cover with a machine gun, the autobiography of an LA gang member. And I was in 7th grade, right? So I'm looking, I'm like, damn. All right, let me read your book. And she's like, all right, when I'm done with it, bet. She taking weeks. I'm like, look, when we're in class and you're working, let me read it at that time, then I give it back to you and we'll do it every day like that.
Right.
Bro, and that book, like it was like a veil being taken off of my eyes, bro. Because as soon as I started to read that book, I started to see shit happening. And I don't know if I was already seeing it happen and it just wasn't registering. Right. But prime example. First day I read the book, my nigga, I'm going to Mount Vernon, that's in the Bloods, right? Niggas I play basketball with every day after school, the nigga come up there after school one day riding his bike and the burner fall out, right? And I'm like, damn, he like, you straight blood, you the homie, I ain't gonna do nothing to you. But I'm just like, now that I'm reading this book, all this shit is like this, you know what I'm saying? And then
realize you right in the middle of this.
In the middle of it, bro. And it just blew my mind, man. And so when I like something, I just research. And obviously we didn't have the tools and capabilities of researching then that we have now, so it's word of mouth. You know what I mean? Man, you know this nigga named Monster Kody? Like, this nigga's out here terrorizing you niggas. You know what I'm saying? And I remember a clip in the book where he was like, you had gotten locked up somewhere and you were surrounded by a lot of enemies, and him and his homies wrote a letter and they all signed it. Like, play with Lil Monster if you want to. And sent it wherever you was at. And they said nothing, like you was straight the whole time. And I'm like, the power of that. You know what I mean? So before we even go any further, man, Lil Monster, Kershawn Scott, man, I appreciate you for pulling up, man.
Thank you, man.
For real, I remember seeing you at work for the first time. And I'm like, do they know what this nigga is? This nigga's a certified, like, name out here. You know what I'm saying?
Believe it or not, that's how I ended up getting in the industry.
Oh, like, they knew who you were?
They knew who I was. I did Kurt Sutter, who was the creator of Sons of Anarchy.
Love that
and
show.
The Mayans.
Okay.
He had a 12-episode program on the Discovery Channel called Outlaw Empire, which was they bid on American Gangster.
Okay.
And the premiere episode was done on me.
What's that? Let me, hold on. I need to look at that. What's that called on my phone?
Outlaw Empire.
Say no more. Damn, I didn't see that part in the research. Continue, please.
And just a couple years later, I called him up like, Kurt, I need a job, man. Let me get in.
Okay.
And Kurt, knowing my background, he didn't say, sure, no problem, I got you, right? He said, let me call you back, right? So he called me back and he told me, I want you to go talk to my buddy Jim over at Fox. He didn't tell me who Jim was. He said, somebody's gonna call you with the information, right? Got the information, set the date, went over there. I didn't realize that Jim was the vice president until I got there.
Of Fox?
Of Fox.
Oh, so you know niggas who know niggas. Okay.
And, Jim asked me, what is it that you want to do in the industry? And I said, I want to work every day. And he said, doing what? And I said, I don't care what it is. I don't care if I'm pushing a broom. I just want to work every day. And stayed up in his office about 2.5 hours talking to him. Still to this day have a great relationship with him, even though he's retired. And every show that I start, I call him and say thank you.
That's love. Okay. So it went from Sutter making a call to Jim, and then, and you know what's so crazy? I respect Sutter, how he's like, hold up, let me think about this.
Right.
Because, like, from what I knew of you until I met you, this nigga kill you right now. Like, he ain't playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can see how someone would be fearful, like, hold up, let me make sure he's on the up and up and he ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, it was like, if the VP says it's cool,
for sure,
then if he reverts back to who he was, then the responsibility is not on me.
For sure, for sure. Okay. So that's how you got into the industry.
Yes.
And then so how did you get the Showtime plug? Cause that's how I met you. Cause that's Warner.
Right.
That ain't Fox for you to get the walk in.
Just through the relationships that I had built up over the years.
Copy that.
And
okay.
I showed up one day, just day playing, and that very same day they asked me if I wanted to be staff.
Word?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, right? Because I remember I did a show called Bad Hair, and I remember we pulled up in the 60s, and Pretty Boy was outside, right? And it's crazy, bro, for me to have read that name in your brother's book, and now I'm sitting staring at this dude, right? Like, it's crazy how the correlation goes, man. And he was being a little bit difficult with the filming people, like, y'all ain't just finna be over here filming like that. Like, I need to get a little, compensation.
Rightfully so.
So, okay, so you believe that's rightfully so?
Yes.
And why do you believe that's rightfully so?
Because when they come into our neighborhoods, they come in with the intention of shortchanging our neighborhoods, right?
Why do you feel that way?
It's a race thing, right? They will pay significantly less money in our neighborhoods than they will if they're shooting in Pasadena, Beverly Hills, or some other upscale neighborhood.
Didn't even think about that. So you're telling me right now that there are some locations, managers, and outfits who will go to Pasadena and say, we'll give you $3,000 per day, but they want to come to our neighborhood and give us $500.
Right.
What? Okay.
Yes.
And it makes sense.
Yes.
I just never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Damn. So I agree with you now. That is justified that he should want. But so the question I was getting at, though, was have you ever been in a situation like that where you had to go holler at some gang members like, hey, bro, we're trying to get something going. I'm going to make something happen for y'all, but I need you to let me do my job?
No, but I had one of my homies call me. They were filming in my old neighborhood.
Okay.
And he asked me, how should I handle this?
Okay.
And my response was, set your price, and if they don't meet your price, shut that shit down.
Wait, so there's no negotiation?
No, set your price. If they don't meet your price, shut it down. He gave him his price. They played with him. It got shut down.
They met the price.
The person that he was dealing with got fired. They met his price, and
everything was good.
Yeah, everything was good.
Okay, shit, I ain't mad at that, man. Man, so many things to think about. So, walk me through. So, are you originally from LA? Your family?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay, so we don't have like the Mississippi transplants, the Louisiana transplants.
Yeah, my parents are from Texas.
From Texas, yes. Okay, so that's where y'all from originally.
Right.
But you were born and raised in Los Angeles, California.
Yes.
In the 80s, where you from? That's where you landed first?
No. I was born, the area we were living in at the time was predominantly white. We were probably one of 3 black.
What year is this? When this is predominantly white?
This was in the 60s, in the latter part of the 60s. I was born in 65.
So our area that we call home now was predominantly a white area?
The area we lived in.
Okay,
right?
bet.
But we didn't move to what they declare as South Central until 72.
Copy. Okay, so you born in 65, right?
Yes.
You moved there 72.
Yes.
Okay, so at this time so let's go to 72. At this time, what's happening in LA around you that you can remember at that young age?
Oh, well, I mean, the move from where we lived to there was night and day, you know. And
in a bad way or a good way?
In a bad way.
Okay, damn.
And Tookie lived on our street.
So at this time in '72, Crippin is going.
It's getting off the ground.
It's
Yes,
getting off the ground.
yes.
Okay, okay. So what year did Crip originally begin?
Some say 69, but they didn't really get on the map until you had the situation happen at the Pantages Theater.
What situation is that for everyone, for people who may not know?
Soul Train was filming at the Pantages.
Okay.
And part of the dress code of the Crips in the early days was the leather jackets, because again, it was patterned after the Black Panthers. So
I need to stop you right here, because I've never heard that, and I love to research these things, right? So you're saying that Crips were emulated after the Black Panther Party?
yes.
Damn. Okay.
So the dress code was the black leather jacket.
Okay.
The
hat too?
Levi's. No, not the tam.
Okay.
Right.
That's called a tam?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And so they went up. Some Crips went up to the Pantages, and were taking leather jackets. And a kid got killed that turned out to be the son of a district attorney.
That'll do it.
And that put the Crips on the map right there.
Okay. So nice little history lesson
yes.
there. Okay, bet. So that's when they get actually put on the map.
Yes.
So when you move to where you move to, like, is it dangerous like how it was when you got older? Is it like, are you able to move freely? Are kids able to play in the street like how people always say, like, without nothing happening?
Yes, because there wasn't as many gangs.
Okay.
And there wasn't as many beefs.
Copy that. Okay.
So I mean, you had the blood and Crip beef. Wasn't Crip on Crip or blood on blood. So it wasn't as many beefs. And no, it was nowhere near as dangerous as it became.
Okay. Okay. Damn. Okay. So how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
3. So, okay. So where do you rank in the brothers?
I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest?
In
Cody's
the family.
where?
He's next to me, 18 months older than me.
Older, and then you have an older brother?
Yeah, we have 2 older brothers.
Okay, bet. All right. And you and Cody were the only ones who chose to bang?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, one of my older brothers, he was attempting to go that route, and they had went up to Audubon again to take jackets.
Okay.
And out of everybody that went, he was the one that got caught. He spent one night in juvenile hall, and he was scared straight.
I love it. I love it. I got a cousin like that.
Yeah.
We went and did some shit. He got caught and was like, this ain't for me.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
fucking with y'all.
Right.
Y'all do that shit if y'all want to. And end up working out for me doing this thing now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Worked out for him.
And not even to say that those of us, or not even us, because I didn't gangbang, but though it's not even to say that those who did, it ain't working out for them now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
people grow, people change, and
Right.
different opportunities
Right.
present themselves. So during those years, right? So when you first hit 72, 73, 8 to 10 years old-ish, what's dominating your mind? Like sports, do you want to be an athlete, school, or are you seeing what's going on the block and you're like, hold on, this seems intriguing?
Didn't want to be an athlete. I wanted to be the first Black president.
You had that thought when you were a kid?
Yes.
President?
Yes. The first Black president.
The first Black president. So
Yes.
what made you feel like you could do that? Or is it just childish dreams? Or is it you're seeing things that can help you say, well, damn, I might can achieve that? Because we don't have a Black president at that time.
Right,
And
right.
ain't nothing close to a Black
Right,
president happening
right,
at that time.
Right. We were just getting our first Black mayor here in Los Angeles.
Come on. So what makes you think I can be a president?
The belief in myself.
Okay.
I always felt like I was intelligent.
Okay.
Loved history.
I
Still love history.
Man, what? Come on.
And I was a good student
Okay.
until I was just no longer a student.
Okay. So what age did you no longer become a student?
7th grade.
7th grade. So what, we 12 at this time?
Yeah.
So about the
12th,
time
13th.
when I see your brother's book and I'm starting to see what the fuck is going on. Okay,
Yeah.
so 7th grade, we have that in common.
Yeah.
So you never wanted to be an athlete. You were a student when you wanted to be a student. And banging was, I see it, but it ain't nothing that I'm too much interested in.
No, you know what? I saw it. My first memory of gangs. I mean, we would see these guys, Tookie and
So you're seeing Tookie, but you don't know that's Tookie. That's just whoever it is on the block.
Yeah,
The
he's
older
just
guy on
he's
the
just a
block.
guy on the block. Right?
And is it true how in Monster's book it's like weights driving every day, big swole?
And Tookie's living room consisted of crates of weights and weight benches. There was no
In the
furniture.
living room?
In the living room.
So I can't even go in there and get comfortable.
No, he had fold-up chairs.
What?
That's it.
That's crazy. So they really was like, this is a question I've wanted to ask someone from that era. Do you think, because I remember reading that in your brother's book, how they trained so hard, do you think that a Tookie or one of those guys could have been like a Mr. Olympius or something? Had they taken it that, like, another step more?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Tookie had that potential. I mean, one, he was huge, and they trained daily, all day. And yeah, he had the potential,
Okay.
Let me throw this in there.
Okay.
Tookie clowned Arnold Schwarzenegger in Venice Beach, Muscle Beach, right?
Yeah?
Back in the day.
Now, when you say clown, because Arnold might see this, right? Arnold might see this. So I need you to describe for me how he clowned him, because I know what I'm thinking.
He just outlifted him, just
Easily,
right? And I don't know if that stayed with Arnold, but ironically enough, Arnold was governor when Tookie was up for execution.
hold on.
Now, let me throw this in there.
Go ahead.
Throw this in there, right? They executed Tookie in December, right? Knowing that in January, they were going to call a halt on the death penalty.
Period.
In this state.
So right now, there's no more death penalty in California?
They haven't executed a person in a long time here in this state.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So he could have stayed Tookie's sentence, and he didn't.
You think
They executed him the next month? They put a halt to the death penalty in this state.
That's crazy. That's a crazy.
Now I don't know if what happened at Muscle Beach back in the day had anything to do with that, but
What year was this Muscle Beach incident? If you give me a time, if it was 85, you could say 84 to 87. Just give me a little 3-year span of when it could have been.
It had to be in the latter part of the 70s before Tookie.
Okay, so let's just say 78, and then this execution that could have been stayed was what year?
2005.
So what, 88, 98? So Arnold tripping off 20-something-year-old, you outlifted me? Damn. I wonder if that really, Arnold.
If that had any play in, I mean, because by the time that they executed Tookie, he had been nominated for Nobel Peace Prize.
For the book, right? Yeah.
People all over the world were calling for a stay of execution on him. And Arnold was like, no, we're going hard in the paint on this.
So let me ask you a question about that, right? Do you think that because I believe that Tookie was in prison for 7-Eleven robbery murder situation, right? Something like that?
Well, it wasn't 7-Eleven, it was a motel.
A store. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's a
motel.
motel, right? So do you think that they were tripping on Tookie due to the fact of that crime in and of itself? Or were they tripping on Tookie like, bro, look at this demon you've created for our society?
Not when he was arrested, but by the time of his execution, yes.
Oh, because
clearly.
it had blown. Okay,
Right,
okay, damn. Right. How did that affect you when he was executed? How did you feel about it?
I just felt sad that here's a person that could make a difference, right?
A big difference.
And you're saying you want to stop this violent activity, right? And here's somebody who can be huge in stopping that, or at least helping to stop that.
I concur.
And you execute him.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think if they so did you want them to just stay the execution, he's able to live his last days in jail and help how he can help from jail? Or were you more so leaning to stay the execution and some type of release?
You know what, you're not going to go from the death penalty to
Home.
release.
To home. Okay,
that's not
okay.
happen.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I wasn't naive.
Okay.
In that way. But
okay.
as long as he was breathing, he could have been helped.
For sure, because like you say, Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I'm saying? So that's incredible. They don't just give that to anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's earned. So damn, okay, I get that. I get that. This is a two-part question. At what age does gangbanging cross your mind to where like this could be something I'm into? And also, is that due to what Kody has going on, or is this a unilateral decision that you're just making on your own? Like, I like how this looking.
It was just a natural progression of growing up, right? And you know, you go through progressions, right? You fly kites with all the friends on your block, right?
Okay.
You ride bicycles, right? It goes from dirt bikes to 10 speeds, right? Maybe mini bikes. It was just a natural progression. This is just what we did.
Hold on. Because that's a heavy natural progression to make, bro. Like this ain't like, all right, we started riding dirt or bicycles.
Yeah.
Now we going to dirt bikes. Now we going to motorcycles. This is serious business.
Yeah, but see, it's still not
Copy that.
where it grew to, right?
So, okay, so what year does gangbanging cross your mind like this might be something I'm into? And how old are you at this time?
78, 79, so I'm 12, 13.
12, 13. And you say it's not as dangerous as it grew to be, but if you ask me, your era was the most dangerous era that was around. Like, I feel like when I was growing up, like, banging was banging for sure. Shit was going on.
Right.
But when I research and read your brother's book and do different little researches and see shit, like, that's when shit was cracking.
Because as we came up, there was, how can I say this? Me being from A Trey, right? So our immediate enemies were the Six Deuce Brims that were to the north of us and the Inglewood families, right?
To the west of you. Inglewood to the, okay.
Inglewood's to the west of us, yes.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And, you know, after a while, it just wasn't much resistance from those two guys, from those two gangs.
Okay.
And then we get into it with the 60s.
I remember that.
And it was just, it was like we were just eager to have that war.
Eager to have that war.
To have that activity.
How does a 12-year-old child, bro, because even I went to prison when I was 18, right?
Yeah.
And I can think back to then, I was a kid still. I didn't have no, right?
Yeah.
And 12 and 13, that's a tender age.
Yeah.
I think of my son, I have a 7-year-old son, bro. I think of my son at 12 and 13 with a pistol outside, terrifies me as an adult. So what as a 12-year-old in your mind makes you feel like I'm outside?
The protection of my friends. Because again, that's what it's all about, right? You start with your friends on the block. That becomes the clique.
That's the clique for sure, because we had it, okay.
And then it clicks to the next block, to the next block, to the next block, right? Or we all know each other from school, right? And yeah, so
a natural progression.
You know.
Was there a specific incident that made you say it's up? Because, for example, I read in Kody's book, a dude robbed him at school. And that was the thing for him. Like, I'm not a victim no more. I'm through with this.
Yeah.
So was it a situation like that happened where you're like, hey, fuck, tomorrow it's up. Like, I'm being from the hood, or is it just a progression like we just
No, it was never a conscious decision. But back in the early 70s, maybe 73, 74, when my older brother was trying to get into it, and as kids, we would go swimming at Harvard Park, which were the Six Deuce Brims.
Yeah.
And so we're in the pool swimming, and my brother comes up there, and he got the Levi's on with the suspenders and the brim hat, you know, and it was bloods in the pool because my sister overheard them saying, "Look at this fool, right? Let's get out the pool and beat him up."
Okay.
Right? So my sister went over to the gate and told my brother, "Hey, you should leave," right? And by the time we got home, he was there, and he was beat up.
Okay.
right? So, and again, I mean, gang.
You're at the pool at this time?
Yes.
So you didn't see the fisticuffs? Okay.
No, we didn't see it.
Okay.
At that time, being a gang member or gang banging, it wasn't registered, right?
Okay.
But from that point forward, the Brims were my enemies because they had did this to my brother.
For sure. Okay. Okay. Copy that. All right. What? So okay, so we got like the middle school situation going on, or that time frame. How was high school for you? What high school did you attend?
I was in jail.
For all of high school?
Yes, I went to jail at 15, got out when I was 21.
So with that, was that like a juvenile life sentence?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I went to jail for 1 count of first degree murder and 4 counts of attempted
We're gonna
murder.
get to that. We're gonna get to that. So, okay. So I've always wondered this with the juvenile life thing, because I've seen some people say they get juvenile life and they go straight to prison, like they don't get to come home.
Well, of course, the laws have changed.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Okay. So no high school on the street.
No.
No prom. No sophomore formal.
No.
God damn.
None of that.
And you're in YA?
Yes.
So I hear the stories, right? I've been to juvenile hall.
Mm-hmm.
YA was that terrible, bro?
Yeah, because again, you got a bunch of youngsters looking to prove themselves.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And when you get to YA, gangbanging is what gangbanging is. It's on.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're in YA, when it's cracking, okay. Damn. So no high school, no. So you were a virgin when you went to jail?
No.
No. Okay. So at least we got that out the way. Let me go back a little bit to the middle school time, right? Because I always hear people say like, well, I gang banged because there were no other options in my area. There wasn't a doctor on my street for me to go and say, hey, how can I become a doctor?
Right.
There's no lawyer on my street for me to see that this is possible. So what type of employment did your neighbors have? Were you able to see some good examples of like, I can get rich the legal way? Or how was that for you?
We had good neighbors for the most part. I mean, it was Jack across the street. He worked for TRW, which is a huge credit company.
Okay.
I think. And, you know, he came home every day in a suit and tie.
Okay. That's a good example.
There was a nurse across the street.
Okay.
So, yeah, there were successful people on my block.
Was it a nice middle class area? Nice cars? Everybody got a little bit of money? Or is it a poor area still?
No, it was a nice middle class area. You know, everybody's yard is well tended.
Manicured? Okay.
Manicured,
Bet.
you know,
Okay.
And my mother was a stickler for that. On Saturday mornings, we had to get out in the yard. And we ate breakfast when we were done.
Damn. And how long could yard work take?
As long as it took.
Till you finished it.
Yeah. Front
Damn.
and backyard.
Oh, shit.
My mother was.
All the kids outside?
Yes.
Cody outside tending the lawn?
Yes. My sisters are in the house cleaning the house.
I like that. Women doing the housework,
yeah.
men is in the yard.
My mother she would get up every morning before work and she would sweep the front of her yard. She would sweep the gutter.
I see people, oh, that's crazy. Okay. Not crazy, I mean,
Yeah.
but just like, that's dope. Okay. So life is pretty decent in the air. Okay. Speaking of the crime, the murder, the 4 attempted murders, right? So I know that's when Kody was shot.
Yes.
You went to handle business.
Yeah.
Is that when he was shot outside the surplus store?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you at this time? 15?
15.
So, and you ate trade up already?
Yes.
So where are you when you hear that Kody's been shot?
I'm at my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
Who lived in 6 Deuce Brim neighborhood.
Okay.
Right across the street from Harvard Park, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
We had a plan that night. We were going to break into the surplus.
That's what you were going to?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay,
Yes.
because I know in the book he says they were going to scope it out to get a final.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
that was
So
the
you was
plan.
about to go get some guns too?
Yes, that was the
okay.
plan.
Okay. So that's the plan.
We had a meeting at St. Andrews Park earlier that day at 3:00.
Okay.
Right? And I left the park with my crew of homies. He left the park with his crew of homies.
Let me just stop you right there, right? Who is your crew of homies, right? Because I remember in the book, like he had Crazy D,
Right.
he had Joker.
Right.
Who you running with?
Joker was running with me.
That's your boy. Okay.
Lil D.
Lil D, okay.
and Lil Hard. That's my crew.
That every fucking name you just said, I seen it. Okay, bam. So that's you.
Yes.
So y'all have the meeting, 3 p.m. We decide this is what it is.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I see bro, we're at the meeting and we'll talk later.
Copy that. Okay.
I think I went home for a while and then I went over to my girlfriend's house.
Okay.
And I don't know, it was maybe about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock.
Are there pagers around this time?
No.
Okay, so it's just, you got to be at the house or the landline.
Right.
Okay, okay.
And I called the house. And my sister answered the phone. And I said, hey, is Kody there? And she said, no, but he came earlier. And he was with Lil Hunchy and somebody else.
And that's the one that ran on him?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I said, all right. But while we're on the phone, an emergency call comes through. This is before call waiting.
I was just going to say, what does that even mean? What does an emergency call coming through means?
An emergency, it's the operator breaking through the line saying, hey, you have an emergency call from Edgar.
Okay.
Right? But the name said Kody.
And he's in the hospital at this time?
No. So I'm like, damn, I'm going to call you back. So sis took the call. When I called back, she's crying. And I'm like, what's up? And she said, Kody been shot. And I said, well, who was that on the phone making the call? And she said it was Lil Hunchy, right?
He just said Kody name to get through.
Right,
Copy
get
that.
through.
Okay.
So I get on my bike and I ride home, right, from 60th and Harvard to 69th and Dinker.
Okay.
And I immediately go.
Wait, time out. That's the 8 trades at this time, or you're living somewhere else?
No, that's
69th and Dinker is 8 trades at this time?
Yeah.
Is it? It's not still?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but 8 trades run from Gage to the north to Century to the south.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I remember Kody in the book saying you broke it up into subsets.
Right.
Is this when it's subsets, or this is still when it's just one big thing?
This is still one big thing.
Okay,
just
okay.
Under the banner of
know.
West
Okay,
Side.
okay, bet. So continue. I'm sorry.
All right. So I get home and we have 2 guns at home. We have a double barrel 12 gauge shotgun, that's sawed off, and a 9mm. I check on the guns and they're gone, right? And my sister tells me, well, that's what he came here for earlier. And he left with those guns. So now I'm really puzzled, like, well, how did he get shot?
That's my question in my mind right now. I remember okay.
So I get back on my bike, I leave home and go straight to Lil Hunchy's house. Because you got to explain to me what the fuck happened.
And at this time, you don't know he ran?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know that until I actually talk to
Your brother. Okay. And that's in the hospital bed.
Right.
I remember that in the book. Go ahead.
And I get to Lil Hunchy's house and he's playing the whole situation lightly. Like, man, your brother's going to be all right. He just got shot in the leg. And his cavalier attitude, I wasn't with, right? So I get on my bike. Lil Hunchy stayed between 76th and 74th. I get on my bike, I ride to 80th, where I run into Lil Spike.
Okay.
And Lil Spike is crying. And I'm like, what's up? And he said, man, have you heard about your brother? And I was like, yeah, I just left Lil Hunchy. He told me bro got shot in the leg. And he was like, nah, your bro got shot 5 times. So now we both crying. And where's everybody? And he says, everybody's over Al Capone's house. So I put Spike on the handlebars and we go over Al Capone's house where everybody is, right? And of course, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to launch missions now, right? And it was Al Capone who told me, no, don't, because if you go tonight, you probably end up in jail.
If you go tonight, you'll probably end up in jail.
Because everybody knows he got shot, right?
And at this time, because I know in the book, like, he's a polarizing figure in the city. Like, niggas know, like, especially police, like, who that is.
Right.
So it's like that at this time? Like, he's that guy? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And he's like 16 at this time, or 17?
Yeah, 17.
That's crazy, a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It blows my mind to think about the age that you guys were doing this shit and experiencing the things that you were experiencing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I'm sorry to cut you off again. It's just that, like, as you fill in these holes for me, it's crazy to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, go again, continue.
So I stay over there hanging out with the homies at the Owl's house for a while. You know, everybody's smoking and drinking.
You haven't talked to Kody?
No,
You ain't been to no hospital.
Haven't been to hospital.
Anybody? Nobody knows nothing. It's
Nobody
just
knows nothing.
Kody shot 5
Right,
times. Okay.
right.
Then this is day 1, night 1.
Right.
Okay.
So I leave there maybe about 11. I go home,
PM. Copy you.
and all the family is there except my mom. My mom is at the hospital, and so we're all just like waiting, and my mother calls and says he's going to be all right. He's going to make it.
Okay.
So, I slept a little easier that night.
Are y'all on high alert as a gang?
Of course.
But when I'm saying high alert as a gang, I'm saying like not to go and do anything, but that they may
Just,
come and
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
So the next morning,
And at this time, do you have an idea of who's done it?
yes, because Hunchy was there. He
Bet.
saw
So
people.
okay, and he knew the people
Yes,
personally. Okay,
yes.
bet.
So next morning I get up, and my mother would let me drive her car to the store. My thing, I always had to read the newspaper.
You were a newspaper reader?
Yes, heavy.
I only know one other person in my life who was like that.
Yeah, I
like
had to, every day.
like read the fucking
Every day, front
every
to
day.
back.
So you front to back?
Front to back.
So at 15, you're well versed in what's going on in the world.
Yes,
Finance.
yes.
Damn.
I wanted to be the president, bro.
So you still on some president shit, but you got the blue flag.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
All right, bet.
To that point, I had not been in jail for a serious or violent crime.
But you've been to juvenile hall?
Yes, I had
For
been
what?
to juvenile
For
hall,
what?
robberies, right? I had been to camp for robberies.
But what age do you first go to jail
13.
for a robbery or something?
GTA, right? Stolen cars.
And camp is different than YA.
Yes.
In a better way or bad way?
In a better way. It's not as violent,
Okay.
and
Did
you're
y'all
there
have
6 months. I mean, so
did y'all have a football team like the Gridiron Gang?
No,
No?
no.
None of that's going on.
No.
Okay.
No.
And that's at camp, that's where they have the box they just stuff you
Right,
in?
right.
Damn,
And
okay.
as a matter of fact, that movie Gridiron, or whatever the name of that movie was.
Gridiron
right?
Gang?
That was at, what camp did they use for that?
I
Fort
wanna-
Patrick.
Yes, that's exactly
That's
what
where
it
the
was.
box was.
Damn.
So,
They did away with that, right?
Huh?
They did away with that.
they
Okay.
did away with
Okay. Damn. Okay. So 12 at first. Damn, that's crazy. Okay.
that. So I asked Mom if I can drive her car to
After you read the morning paper.
no, to go get the paper.
Oh, to get the paper. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But this morning I have no interest in the paper. Right. I know my father got guns. My father lived on Adams. Right. So I drive over to my father's house, wake him up.
Dad knows you're big A Tray?
No, he has at this time. There's minimal involvement with Pops.
Okay, but I just need some burners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And for as long as I can remember, my father always had his 38. He kept it in a brown bag. He would literally have it on his dashboard in his car. Right. So, but I know he has more guns.
Okay.
So I go there. I tell him what happened to Kody, that he's gonna be all right. Right.
Oh, so Pops don't even know at this
No,
point. Damn.
no.
Okay.
So
And y'all don't have the same father.
no.
Correct me please or help me. His dad is somebody famous. He
Dick
believes
Bass, running back
the
to Rams.
Rams. Damn. Okay.
And Ray Charles was his guy.
Godfather.
Yes.
Fuck. Damn. Go ahead.
So I tell Pops,
Kody cool.
yeah, and I need a gun.
Okay.
And he brings the 38 and he sets it on the coffee table.
Your father brings you the gun and gives it to you?
Yeah.
Does he ask you what you about to do? Like,
No. And I tell him I don't want that. It's too small. And he looks at me, he sits down, he looks at me, and he says, okay, how'd you get here? And I said, I drove Mom's car. He said, follow me up the street around the corner. Right. So being that you went to Mount Vernon, you should know this area. On Washington and 10th was the Eat Shop. I think Jackie Robinson had
that's where the Red Supermarket was, right? Was the
Yes,
Red
yes.
Supermarket? Yes.
we pull in that parking lot. Pops goes to the trunks,
Was the swap meet there at that time?
No.
Okay.
And hands me 2 shotguns.
Why do you have to drive around the corner to do that?
I guess he didn't want the neighbors.
Oh, but you do it in a
It's
convenient.
New Year's Day. We're the only ones in the parking lot.
Okay.
Everything is closed. And he gives me the shotguns. He gives me $50 and tells me, when you're done with them, call me so I can come pick them up. But my mentality was this. The minute he handed me those guns, they were mine.
For sure.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna whip me?
Yeah, not when I got, yeah.
Right, exactly. I got your guns.
Exactly.
So you know we ain't going there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I drive back home, and I got Lil Spike with me because we had been together from the night before, right?
He's with you when you go pick him up?
Yes.
Okay.
No, not Lil Spike. Lil GC is with me.
Okay.
I was going to pick up Lil Spike, and Lil GC was on the corner smoking a joint. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, right? He's home for the holidays from Job Corps in Nevada. And I stopped and I asked him, what are you doing? And his grandmother, he was like, man, you know how Granny is. You know, I can't smoke over there. So he's literally standing on the corner of 80th and Hardale smoking a joint.
That's not dangerous?
7 o'clock in the morning, right? So he asked me where I'm going. I tell him I'm going to Lil Spike's house to get Lil Spike, and he tells me his grandmother going to trip on you if you go over there this early. Lil GC, come on, jump in, right? So he and I go over Pop's house, right? We get back to my house, and I've been gone now for an hour or longer.
Been supposed to be, okay.
So we had these big picture windows, and my mother's literally just standing in the window. Right? So when I put up in the driveway, she's standing there, and this was the only time that I did that. I just went to the trunk, got the guns, and she's looking at me.
And they're not wrapped in anything?
No. And I walk into the backyard. I put the guns in the garage, and I come through the back door. My mother's sitting in the dining room. She looks at me. Me and GC go into the room. She doesn't say anything, right? Matter of fact, she doesn't say anything to me for most of the day. But I'm home.
After she seen you
Right.
walking with 2
shotguns. But I'm home. So as long as I'm home, she
Nothing's
figured
going on.
Nothing's
Yeah.
going on. Right.
I know her mind is racing.
Yeah.
I got one son shot in the hospital, barely okay, and my youngest son has just walked into my house with 2 shotguns.
Right. And never had, I mean, the respect for my mother was astronomical. I mean, up until the day that she passed, and I was in my late 30s, you know, I still wasn't cursing from my mother.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I don't
it was-
smoke in front of my mom.
yeah.
Like, she
It
know
was-
I smoke.
It
Yeah.
was that type of respect, right? Like if I said a curse word, it would be like, oh, Mom, you know, I was at work today and Edgar said this, excuse me for what I'm about to say.
Okay. Mine would be like kind of maybe blurted out, like, oh shit, Mom, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Mom, I should have
Yeah.
said that.
No, it wasn't no slip ups.
No slip ups?
No.
Was your mom the type to like slap you in your face if you bullshitted?
No, because we were past that point, but
My mama slapped me in my face today if I'm
it
bullshit.
was just, I don't know, Mom's just had a way. I mean, we didn't use the word nigger in our house, none of that.
We
right?
couldn't even have curse word CDs in my house. She'd break the motherfuckers up and throw them out. I'm like, I borrowed that from somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're in the house all day. What are you guys talking about, you and GC? Just like, hey, it's on?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
let's plot. Okay, we're figuring out what we're going to do.
GC is not one of my road dogs.
Oh, this is the Job Corps.
Yeah.
Oh, so
He's-
is he banging?
Yeah, little GC is banging. Hell yeah, he's banging.
But he's not in it like you in it because he's in Nevada chilling.
No, he's in it like I'm in it. He was sent to Nevada.
Because of what he was doing.
Right.
Copy that.
Right.
Okay.
So GC stakes claim to one of the shotguns. Well, I want to use this, right? Whereas normally, while we're both from the same gang, right? But he's not my road dog. He's not in my clique, right? Not to mention the fact that Lil GC was from the south side.
Okay.
I'm from the north, right?
Does that matter in gangs? Like, I'm under the assumption, like, okay, well, you're from A-Tray, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we're all one big family, but me and these 3 dudes hang out every fucking day, so these are my guys.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's what it is.
But you're like, he's from the South, I'm from this, like that matters?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
So what's that? Why you say that then? Like, what is that?
Because, I mean, Lil Spike was from the South. And I
Okay.
was going to get him, not my road dogs.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I don't even know where they were. Now that I think about it, that night that he got shot, I didn't talk to them or see them.
Okay.
But anyway, so GC stakes claims to one of the shotguns. All right, cool, right? And shotguns are a 20 gauge pump and an over and under 12 gauge double barrel.
What is it? Does that the click over and under? What does that mean?
No, it just means that the barrels are like this, over and under.
Oh, copy.
As
Okay,
opposed
bet.
to side by side.
Okay.
And okay, right. Been with me all day. You got that,
Bet.
right? We have a meeting at the park again at St. Andrews at 3:00. Right?
And no one's seen Kody yet.
No,
Okay.
and there had already been a couple of missions launched throughout the course of the day. By about just as it's getting dark, so this is January 1st, so it's probably getting dark around 4:30,
What
5
year?
o'clock. They had just turned 1981.
I wasn't even born yet.
And so the homies come over, right? And we're in the bedroom. We're not smoking weed because mom's is in the
Is it the
house,
house?
right?
Yep.
But we're listening to music, oldies, right? So finally I was like, it's time to go. All right, let's go. And this time, I don't go out the back door. Mom's is sitting in the dining room. I'm heading to the front door. GC got the 20 gauge, I got the double barrel.
I'm just amazed that y'all ain't trying to hide it. Y'all just in plain sight.
And my mother at that point, she said, stop, let me talk to you guys. Right? And she had been crying all day. Crying all night, all day. And she said, what you guys are about to go do is wrong. Tomorrow, there will be another mother doing the same thing that I've been doing for the last 24 hours. Crying. Mm-hmm. Don't do this. Mm-hmm. Right? And of course, nobody else was going to interrupt my mother, and I certainly didn't. Right? I let her go through her whole spiel. And when she was quiet for a minute, I asked her if she was done. She said, yeah. And at that point, I stood up and told the homies, let's go.
You don't say, I love you, Mom.
No.
I heard what you said. You just walk out the door.
Let's go. Right.
So you're determined to do whatever it is you're about to do.
Yeah. Retaliation has to be swift, and it has to be violent.
Okay. Swift and violent.
So we go over another homie's house, and this is the launch pad. Mm-hmm. Now, we got our car thieves, in gangs, everybody got a purpose, right? Some people are good at fighting, some people are good at spray painting, some good at stealing cars, right? So the car stealers, I tell them, go to Torrance, somewhere outside of this jurisdiction, steal a car.
Okay.
Right? And they come back with a trans van, which was perfect, right? And it was 7 of us in that van.
Okay.
Right. And I'm riding shotgun with the double barrel. There are 2 people. It's a table with a window, 2 chairs.
Is a table in the van?
Yeah. This is.
I remember them van.
Yeah, it's a camper
All right,
type
man.
van, right?
Okay.
So, behind me, there's a shotgun, the 20 gauge, and a 357 Magnum. At the other table, there's a 12 gauge riot pump shotgun and a 357 Magnum. Working the back door was another homie, and he has a 8mm rifle.
Okay.
Bolt action. Right. So we take off.
Okay.
And being that I only got 2 shots before I got to reload, so I'll make it clear, I'm getting off the first shots, right? And then you guys just do your thing, right? And that's what it was.
And this is what you go to jail for?
Yes.
So wait, you didn't see Kody in the hospital? Oh, you don't. Okay, obviously you don't get
No.
caught that day.
No, I don't get caught that day.
Okay.
And it's probably maybe another week and a half, 2 weeks before I go see him because I didn't want to see him like that.
Because I remember crying was happening when you seen him. Okay, bam. So damn, I didn't even know you were describing the day. Okay, so
Yeah.
shit.
And that took place New Year's night. He got shot New Year's Eve. I retaliated New Year's night.
Okay, so you guys go slide in the trans van.
Yeah.
And after that's finished, y'all all go back and hang out, or we disperse and go our separate ways? Or?
No, we go back to the launch pad.
Mm-hmm.
I tell him to drop the van off in East LA. I get a ride over to my girlfriend's house. Right. And I don't know, maybe about 2:30, 3 a.m., her mother takes me home.
And that's
it.
That's it.
Right.
So
it wasn't until maybe 2 weeks later that where we are, the launch pad house gets raided. And the homie who lived there, his sister called me and told me our house got raided today, right? Da 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 da, right? They found the guns, they found the 357s, they found one of the shotguns.
Your dad's?
No.
Okay.
No. Those are with me at my house, right? And I remember telling her, damn, well, I'm glad they didn't get the van, right? And she said, the trans van? And I said, yeah. She said, oh, they got that last week. And I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? She said, they've been driving around in that. They never dropped it off in East LA. They just used it as a G-Ride, never cleaned it up. It had shell casings and shit in it.
That's crazy. Are you guys up? Is forensics a thing back then?
Yeah, probably not like it is now.
But
yeah,
and that's what you're worried about, that they have the van.
Well, I'm worried about fingerprints, right? Where I had on gloves, everybody else didn't. You know, some people did, some people didn't, right? So, you know, my thing was wipe it down, drop it off in East LA.
That didn't happen.
No. They drove around in it. They G-roaded it around the neighborhood and then parked it right down the street from the launch pad.
That's not good. Damn, that's like the police, they handing them the case.
Right.
Shit. So it happens that night, and everything is cool for 2 weeks. Is shit still going on? Has shit died down?
Yeah, shit has kind of died down. But
Okay.
I mean, everybody's still on high alert.
Okay.
Because we had went out and did damage. So,
And then you finally decide, I'm about to go see my brother.
yeah. So a bunch of us ride the bus down to General Hospital to see him.
I remember he said they gave him a gun. He had it under his pillow.
Yeah.
And how was that when you see him for the first time? Because he's a little better now, right? He ain't all like the first couple days. Okay.
But he's still in the hospital bed.
Okay.
You know
tubed up?
Yeah, but I mean, not like
Crazily. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And y'all chop it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You good.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you when you come home. It's
Yeah.
all good. Hurry
Right.
up and come home.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, you get arrested.
No, I didn't get arrested until the 28th of January.
Who gets arrested first?
Slim. Like 3 homies get arrested first.
And when this happens, you like, shit.
Yeah. Me, GC, and another homie were the last ones to get arrested.
Y'all didn't try to leave or run or nothing? You're 15. You're
Where am I
15.
going?
You're 15.
Right. I got an uncle who lived in West Covina at the time.
That ain't first. Yeah.
They weren't having that.
Hey, you still in LA, basically.
Right. I mean, they went to Nevada and got GC from the Job Corps.
Oh, shit. Well, I mean, they know where you at.
Right.
Type shit. Okay, so.
But here's the thing, right? The day my brother gets out the hospital, homies coming over to see him. And it was a homie. He's a homie now, but he was on the fence then, right? he wasn't all the way committed. So he was still able to go down to Harvard Park and gamble with the Brims, right?
Okay.
And he came to see my brother, and he told me, he was just talking, he didn't tell me in general, but he was just talking. I was just down at Harvard Park with the Brims, and they was down there laughing about your brother being shot. Okay. So at that point, I called Lil D and Joker. Y'all come over here, right? I still got the guns from my father.
Okay.
Right?
You ain't getting nothing back.
No. And we walked from 69th and Dinker down to 62nd and Dinker with the double barrel that wasn't sawed off. And I got 4 shells.
Where are you hiding this?
In the house?
No, as you're walking down.
We're not.
How are you
It's
walking
night.
down?
We're just walking down the street.
And you're not worried that the police are going to drive by and see y'all?
If they do, they do.
And we just going to run? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you're shrugging your shoulders like that's not the only option. You're not about to open fire on a squad car that comes up on you.
I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I don't know what I would have done.
So
I'm headed down to the park to shoot these guys
On
because they've been
foot.
laughing. Because they've been laughing. So no, I'm not in the right frame of mind.
Okay.
And I go down there. We walk around the gym, and they're between the gym and the snack bar area, and they're gambling. Circle up.
What you mean?
And I load the shotgun. It wasn't even loaded. I load the shotgun, put the blue rag around my face, and I step out. But I want them to see me. So I'm just standing there. And I guess one of them gets knocked off the dice, and he stands up to count his money. He's counting his money. He looks up, and he sees me standing there. And he said, "Oh, blood." And that's when I get off 2 shots. Boom, boom. And the game plan was just to go right back around the gym and just walk right back up Dinker. But as we come around the gym,
walk up Dinker.
they start shooting at us. But they got a 38, right? So I'm not really worried about getting hit, right? So I tell Lil D and Joker, let's go over to my girl's house. But now we got to run across the baseball diamonds, 4 big ass diamonds, right? And the lights are on, right? So
And you have a shotgun in your hand?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're running, right? And I'm trying to reload as we're running. I drop a shell, so now I got 1 shell left, right? And over and under shotgun, the bottom barrel goes off first. So I put that in the bottom barrel. And Lil D, he's laughing as we're running. Shoot back at him. And I'm like, no. I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, if I get cornered, I'm taking somebody with me.
Yeah.
Run over to my girlfriend's house, and we knock on the back door. And her mother answers the door. And the gun, like I said, it's not sawed off. Standing there as tall as me, right? She never said anything about the gun. She said, "What's going on?" We're sweating, right? And I told her, "I don't know. I came down here to visit my girl, right? I'm not gonna say her name." Mm-hmm. And them fools over at the park started shooting at us. Right? So she says, "Come on in."
It's a plausible story.
Outside of the fact that I got this damn shotgun in my hand.
I want to know why, but go ahead.
And she never says anything about the gun, right? So, we kick it for a couple hours. We hear the helicopter and the ambulances and all of that, right? And then I asked my girl to ask her mother to take us home. She takes us home. A couple of days later, police come to the house and arrest my brother for 6 counts of attempted murder for what I had just done at the park. Later that day, the police stopped me, did a white card on me, right, little white identification card, and it was crashed. And the cop says, "Yeah, I hear we arrested your brother today." And I'm just looking at him. He said, "But we know he didn't do that. We know you did that. But we're going to get you on something else." And it never dawned on me that they were talking about what we had did on January 1st.
That's crazy. So they're like, well, we go arrest Kody for this one and get him off the streets, and cause we already got him.
Right.
So we don't got to use this one on him.
Right.
That's crazy.
And then, yeah, 2 weeks after he got arrested, I got arrested. And we were in juvenile hall. We end up with the same public defender, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're having a attorney meeting. He and I and an attorney. And I tell the attorney straight up, my brother didn't do that, I did. And the attorney said, well, I figured that out when I met you. He said, because the way they describe your brother running through the park, it's not possible. He had just gotten out the hospital. He had a cast on his arm. He still had a bullet in his leg. It wasn't possible. Mm-hmm. He said, now I was trying to figure out why they just lying like this. And then I meet you and I'm like, okay, he did this. And I told him I'm willing to say that I did this. And he was like, don't worry about it. Your brother's going to beat this.
Okay.
And
We ain't
he
been
did.
tripping. Yeah. Like we ain't gonna waste that on this because
Right.
there's no way he's gonna get convicted.
Right.
They went to trial, or they just didn't take it to trial because they knew they wouldn't.
No,
be
he went to
able
trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, man. That's crazy. Like I don't even see how that gets out of preliminary.
It was Brims that got on the stand and testified. And they described everything that I did. What I was wearing, the blue rag around my face, the running through the park, through the baseball diamonds, all of that, right? And it came down to there's no way it could have been him. Mm-hmm. They never described a cast and the fact that, hey, he got a bullet in his leg. He just got to the hospital that day.
Crazy. Shouldn't probably have been discharged.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, he probably shouldn't have been.
That's for sure. So you get arrested, and you took a deal, or you went to trial as well?
Juveniles don't really get a trial. Well, they do, but it's not a jury trial.
Okay, so it's like a judge?
The judge is the jury.
Okay. And you did that?
Yes. And the judge told me, I wish that you were 16 so I can give you 25 years of life.
Shit. But all he could give you is juvenile life?
Yes. All they could do was hold me till I was 21.
And I just got to do 6 years?
Yeah. But actually, I thought I was going home.
Why would you think that?
Because my girlfriend's mother and stepfather got on the stand and testified that I was at their house from 6 p.m. until the time that she took me home, which was 2 or 3.
That's a strong alibi.
Yeah.
And that didn't go over.
That wasn't happening.
So, because my thing is, like, it's supposed to be reasonable doubt, right?
Yeah.
So that's reasonable doubt. Like, how you...
Full disclosure, reasonable doubt was eliminated. I had wrote a letter to Crazy D, who was in juvenile hall. Now, back then, they didn't read your mail. So I told Lil D in the letter what we had done.
And they read that mail?
I dropped spaghetti sauce on the envelope, waiting to get a stamp, so it was sitting on the dining room table. And I was like, damn, now I gotta get another envelope, right? And it was sitting there when the police raided the house. They saw it was addressed to another gang member in juvenile hall.
Damn, well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Whoa. Damn. So, YA, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to Nellis first.
Is that like a reception, like how they do prison, or that's just where you went?
Norwalk was the reception. Mm-hmm. From Norwalk, I went to Nellis, which was in Whittier. And my whole thing was, okay, I got 5 years, right? Now, I've been hearing about this co-ed institution in Ventura, right?
With girls there?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a education-based program. So I'm like, oh, yeah, that's for me, right?
Was gangbanging minimal there? Where you'd have been able to
it
like,
was until
chill?
I got there.
Oh, so you got to go?
Eventually.
Okay.
Right. I was too young to go out of Norwalk.
Okay.
And I had too much time.
Okay.
The criteria was you had to be 16 or older in less than 2 years.
Okay.
And I was 15 and I had 5.
Okay.
So I did 18 months in Nellis. and then went to Ventura. And no, it wasn't no gangbanging there when I got there.
So how does gangbang then arrive with you? Because if you're the only
Because
gang
I'm
member,
gangbanging.
there's no one else to gangbang with or
Right.
on.
And I'm writing other people in other institutions try to get here, other homies.
And they get there.
Yeah, some do.
But even with that, it's just Trey and no one else to.
But then other people started coming.
Oh, so other people
yeah,
are getting a little.
yeah,
Oh, I want to go to the
right,
program. Okay,
right,
bam. So
right.
what went from a peaceful program is now
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
We don't know how to control these
Right.
kids.
I mean, in Ventura, this is the type of YA that it was. You wore your own clothes every day. You had a key to your door in your room. Right? In the morning, the bell rung for school. They woke you up, you ate breakfast. The bell rung for school, and they opened the door. If you got a girlfriend, she could be standing on the curb waiting for you, so you can hold her hand and walk to school.
That's a nice program.
It was for a minute until the emphasis, because I was in there when the emphasis changed from rehabilitation to security.
That'll do it.
And then they started changing everything. You can no longer wear your own clothes, and
And that's because of what y'all was
No, that was
just a program they were implementing.
California statewide thing.
Okay. They know how to fuck up a good thing, man.
Yeah.
So and then at this point you have to go back to one of the other camps, or you stay there and finish out?
No, I did 14 months there, and then I was transferred to YTS, which was in Ontario, and that's where my brother was.
So a song.
Not really, because the 8 trays were so deep in YTS.
Nothing's really going on because ain't nothing to go on.
As a matter of fact, the day I got there and I'm in intake, the next day the gang coordinator comes to my room and tells me, "Don't get comfortable. There's no way I'm not having both of you guys in my institution at the same time, right? So I'm gonna ship you up north, right?" But I was smart enough to make a plea that being that I had so much time, that shipping me up north would be detrimental to my reentry to society, right?
And they went for it.
Because I wouldn't get visits, right? Yeah, they went for it. So I had a board order to stay in all Southern institutions.
Oh, board order. So you did it like that. Oh, that's love.
Yeah.
But they still could have shipped you somewhere else in the Southern.
Well, yeah. I went from Nellis to Ventura to YTS, back to Ventura.
So how long were you able to stay with Kody?
Until he paroled. I got there in August of '83, and I think he paroled maybe 10 months later.
Okay.
He paroled in '84.
Okay. So all in all, your YA experience doesn't sound like a lot of other people's who I've heard. Like where it was just up all day, they fighting on their knees behind the wall. The staff is like, you finna fight him and we finna bet on it.
No, I mean, there were instances,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean.
So was it a thing of we're keeping you to your 21st birthday? That was the mandate?
No, I fucked that up. So every year you go to board.
Okay.
Right? And the maximum time cut that you can get is 4 months.
Okay.
But you got to be on top of your shit to get a 4-month time cut, right? So the first time I go to board, I get a 2-month time cut, right? Okay, I'm gangbanging, I'm fighting, and okay. But I'll accept a 2-month time cut happily, right? When I go to board again in Ventura, and this is how serious I am, right? I got a suit on, suit and tie, right? I'm trying to look presentable. I'm trying to get that 4-month time cut, right? And I remember one of the board members asked me, "How am I dealing with my program?" Now, I read the same report that you have in front of you, right? So I'm making the same cap in the report, I got an attitude issue that I'm working with on a daily basis, right? And I'm trying to deal with my antisocial behavior.
Okay.
He tells me, "It's not what I asked you." Sit back. He asked me the same question again. So I give him the same answer again, right? And he tells me, "That's not what I asked you." At this point now, I'm irritated, right? He's playing me, right? But I don't know that. So I said, well, what are you asking me? And he says, I want to know how you're dealing with your commitment offense, which was murder. And at that point, I just snapped and tell him, you know what, I must be doing pretty goddamn good because I haven't killed nobody since I've been up in this motherfucker.
Why would you say that?
Because I lost it. Because I got an attitude problem.
That you're working on a daily basis.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right.
And the minute I said it, and he said, thank you, I knew I had been played. And they took the time cut that I had the month before, and I never got another time cut. So that I ended up, and as a matter of fact, I ended up doing 6 months over the 5.
Damn. So you maxed out?
Yes.
Okay. Bet. You maxed out. So you returned home what year?
86, November 86.
And what's going on? Is crack around?
Yes. Full blown.
What's new to you that you're like, whoa, this was nothing like what was going on when I was home? Whether that be anything involving gangbanging or just some new buildings put up?
The backbiting. The fact that crack had created divisions, the haves and the have-nots. Those that were selling it, those that weren't, those that were using it. And
Selling it, those that weren't, those that were using it.
And it created jealousy, and it was a lot of backbiting, a lot of people talking about this person or that person. And that's what I came home to. The loyalty, the love was gone.
Crack did away with it.
Crack was like dropping an atomic weapon in our community. Not just South Central, but every South Central in this country.
And you've seen Snowfall?
Yes.
Is that kind of an accurate depiction of what happened?
Yeah, pretty much. It is. It is, to an extent. I mean, you know.
As far as how it got or how it arrived to be in our areas?
Yes. Yes.
Damn. And do you believe that this is just something that is happenstance? Or do you believe that somewhere...
Designed.
You believe that somewhere in some office, in some Pentagon, they said because this is my thing, right? It's not crack until we make it crack. It's cocaine. Let me land.
Okay.
Let me land.
Okay.
It's not crack until we make it crack, right? And who knew that some guy somewhere would have a thought to say, let me do this, this, and this, and it created this. So it's just cocaine when it gets here. And cocaine don't make people go crazy like that.
Right.
So how did they know it turned into crack and that it would have a devastating effect as it did?
The first time that I heard the term crack was on 60 Minutes. And they were talking about how a police department in Florida, it may have been Miami-Dade, had literally made crack.
What year is this?
I'm home.
You're in jail. Oh, you're at home.
So I'm home.
And you see on 60 Minutes.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not home when I see that.
So you knew crack was around before you touched down.
Yeah.
You know crack is going on.
But see, now here's the thing, right? Now, mind you, I got 5 years. Right?
Okay. So
mid to late 82, people are coming to jail talking about this new high.
Okay.
But it's...
To YA?
Yeah. Freebasing.
What is that?
That's smoking cocaine.
That's with the foil and all of that?
Yeah, you can use foil, you can use a bong, right?
Okay.
But you're smoking cocaine. This is not crack.
Okay, okay.
Right? Crack and cocaine aren't the same thing.
And at this time, it's not in the hoods. It's not in the ghetto.
Hood. Yeah.
Okay.
And people are coming in and talking about this new high, freebasing.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, damn, right? And I remember telling a couple people, I can't wait to get out and try that shit, right? Because it sounds like a fucking fabulous high.
Okay.
Right? But late 84, early 85, people are coming to jail. Different story, same drug. Now, I've seen this guy go home with 18-inch arms, and now he's back looking like somebody stuck a straw in his neck and sucked him down to 100 pounds
Off the crack.
What happened to you? I was smoking. Smoking what?
Smoking what?
Right. So the terminology and everything had changed. Right?
Okay.
So that changed me. Like, oh, I'm not touching that shit.
Yeah.
I never. Right. So I didn't. I sold it, unfortunately.
So you come home, crack is booming. You see people with all types of wealth. You see people with no wealth, and you see people below the poverty line.
Right.
And you're like, I'm gonna get a sack. I'm gonna see what I can get into.
No. The homies blessed me. At the end of the day I got out, I had 9 ounces of dope, 5 ounces of soft cocaine, 4 ounces of rock.
Okay.
My first time in my life ever seeing cocaine. I put that shit in the bag. I taped that bag up, and I put it in a drawer. Right. I want to walk the line. I'm beating the pavement every day, looking for a job.
Okay.
And the other thing that blew me away was the change in weapons. See, before I went to jail, we were breaking into people's houses to get our weapons. You know, if you came across a 9mm, that was like, oh, wow, right? Because mostly it was 22s, 38s, 32s, shotguns, right? But now there's AR-15s in the neighborhood. There's AK-47s in the neighborhood. When I got out in '86, you can go to a gun store and purchase an AK-47 for $250 right across the counter. No ID needed. A box of 50-round 7.62s cost $2.50.
$2.50. So, when is the first time you shoot one of those? I'm not, and I don't mean at somebody. I mean like, oh, let me see that motherfucker, my nigga.
Probably about a year after I was out.
Okay. And what year is the Rodney King riots?
92.
And you came home in 85, 86. In between these times, you gangbanging heavily. We outside.
No, I'm associated because these are my friends, right? So, but again,
So you really came home like, bro, I'm cool. Y'all my niggas,
right,
but I
but I'm
got
gonna
shit to
walk the
do.
line. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it took me about a month to find a job. I landed a job at Carroll Shelby Racing Wheels out in Carson,
Okay.
working the graveyard shift, making minimum wage, right? And like I said, the day I got out, I was blessed, right? I had the dope that I didn't touch. I had like 3,000 cash. So I bought me a car.
That's a nice care package.
The homies that took me shopping, I had a closet full of clothes.
It's a nice care package.
So
You come home, your homies who were having no money got hella money.
and they blessed me, yes.
Nice. Okay.
I had one homie who was on his way out of town, ran into my mother and said, you know what? I didn't come by and bless him. He took his earrings off. He had paid $3,000 for these diamond earrings. Get these to him. Right? Like that, right? But anyway, I land a job, but I don't have any more money. The $3,000 is gone, right? So I got all this dope. Let me sell a little bit, give me some gas money, some lunch money. This is what I'm thinking.
Some lunch money.
I got to be at work at 10:30, right? So I call up my road dog, put this shit on the table. How do I do this shit, right? So he cut it up, start cutting it up, right? That's a 20, that's a 50, that's a 5, that's a 10, right? This is what you do. You go around to the dope street, get you a worker. Don't run up on no cars. I mean, he's lacing me with the game, right? So that's what I do, right? Okay, I'm gonna go around there 6:30, 6, right? 10 o'clock, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to work, right? By 10 o'clock, I had made $4,000. I never made it to that job that was paying me that was paying me minimum wage, which at the time was $5.15.
I wouldn't have made it either.
And so, yeah.
And everything was gone? Or you still have more product?
No, that was the first time I touched it.
Oh, nigga, I'm off. Listen.
Yeah, I'm off and running now.
You in them AR-15s?
Yeah,
And
I'm
let's
off and
go.
running now.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so now you're a drug dealer.
Yes.
You're a drug dealer by trade.
Right.
All right. So any more run-ins with the law? Are you in and out of jail?
No.
You don't go to jail no more?
I did. They raided the house looking for drugs. They didn't find drugs. They found a MAC-10 that was hot.
Okay.
But it wasn't listed on a search warrant, so they couldn't charge me with that.
The technicalities.
Yes.
I ain't mad at that. So you slid on that.
Yeah.
But so your story isn't one of back and forth.
No. In '89, I had my first kid.
Okay.
And just holding him in the hospital the day he was born, counting his fingers and toes, I just made that conscious decision that he would never see me in jail.
And you're how old?
This is '89, so I'm about to be 25.
Okay, so
I'm 24 when he's born.
okay. And this is 89.
Yeah.
All right. So whereas that's Monster Kody, an active member of the A-Tray gangsters. Someone would look at you during that time and say, oh, that's Lil Monster, that nigga from A-Tray, but he go to work. He hustle, he ain't out here really stepping on shit.
No, they wouldn't say that.
They would, okay. They wouldn't say that. Okay, bet.
And now, so my brother gets out in '88,
Okay.
right? And that was my first time seeing him since '84.
At Nellis. YTS, okay.
Yes. And he's out.
So you're not going to visit him while he's locked up?
No, I don't visit prison.
You're not, okay. That's just not what you do.
No.
Okay, bet.
Working in the industry, I don't work at operational jails.
So hold on. Time out.
I'll tell them. It could be Monday. We go on the wayside on Thursday. I'm sick on Thursday. I'm letting you know that now.
We went to Wayside to do Beverly Hills Cop,
Yeah.
and one of the CEOs was like, hey,
Yeah.
you ain't going?
No,
you're not getting paid that day?
Sick day, sure I am.
We don't have sick, but we have sick because we have sick days?
Yeah.
We got sick days.
But I thought no, because you know how we don't really get vacation day, right? Like we just work throughout and we get that vacation check at the end of the show, right? So you can actually take it like I'm sick and they still pay you the 8?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I thought like if I don't go to work, I just don't get paid.
Yeah, so that just became standard. That, okay, well, this is on the schedule. Okay, well, we got to schedule somebody else because we know Kershawn's not coming to work that day.
And they know why?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, cool. When you work on these shows, they know who you are?
Yeah.
All right. I think they know, but they don't know.
Okay, so the Mayans, right?
Okay.
So the day that I start the Mayans is prep on the first pilot. It's early.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So me and the producer are standing out, smoking a cigarette, and Kurt Sutter pulls up, and then Elgin James pulls up, right? Me and Kurt are talking, right? So later on that day, Elgin asked me, how do you know Kurt? So I tell him the same story I told you, right? It's all right. So a couple days later, we're having this concept meeting, and then afterwards, the actors that had been cast already, they're there, right? So they asked Elgin, who had also gotten in trouble, been in jail, right? So they asked him, how'd you get in trouble? How'd you end up going that route, right? And he said, and this cat grew up in Boston. He said, when I was a kid, I read this book about two brothers in LA. And he says, I wanted to be like them. And everything that I read in that book, I tried to do. I patterned myself after them. right? He ended up going to jail doing 10 years in the feds, right? He actually has a episode on Gangland, right?
Okay.
Himself, right? And so after he finished telling the story, he says it's Kershaw's fault. So I'm like, well, I just met you. And he said, no, it was your brother's book that I read.
That's crazy.
So he's the showrunner.
Yeah.
And Kurt's,
Are you a showrunner?
yeah, and
Damn.
Kurt Sutter's the showrunner. So, yeah. And
So it's your fault. You out here influencing the youth. I'm telling you, bro, when I read that book, man, like, I had been seeing shit go on, man, but like a veil just lifted, and I started seeing shit for real at that point. And I was like, man, and then like he would talk about you in the book, and then like, especially when I came home from prison, and I didn't really have nothing to do,
Yeah.
and they had YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking shit up. Like, I want to see who was doing what, you know what I'm saying? Like, how shit was going. They say that you're one of the main instigators for the Rodney King riots.
yeah.
Why do they say that?
Well, at the time, I'm living in Hawthorne.
Okay.
My car's in the shop. And I remember I called a homie to come pick me up. But when they get there, it's like two cars of homies, right? So as they're walking into my apartment, the verdicts are about to be read. So we're literally standing in my living room looking at this. And I said, man, let's go. Right. We leave, we go to the neighborhood over a homie's house who lives 3 houses west of Normandy on 71st.
All
We're in
right.
his backyard. And we're talking about what we should do. And my mentality was like, we need to tear some shit up, right? It was actually cats back there saying, man, we should make some signs, protest, right? And I'm like, no, we passed that, right? Little football. He comes back there with his crew. He says they're sitting around listening, right? And then they say, well, we're going to go get some beer. All right, bring beer for everybody. Instead of going to the liquor store on Florence and Normandy, they go to the liquor store on Florence and Dalton because they got colder beer, right? Everybody, just, I don't know, it's about 4 of them, right? And we're not paying for this. They just don't walk out, right? One of the Koreans tried to stop him at the door. He got hit with a 40-ounce bottle. Other Korean pushes a silent alarm. LAPD is already on tactical alert. And Florence Avenue is a major artery for 77th.
Okay.
So when they come out the liquor store, the police are on them immediately. Football makes it back to the backyard. And he tells us they got Twan out there right now. Right? The police, they roughing him up. Right? We come out and they have him hogtied. And they carrying him out of this yard that has a gate around it. But they walk through the gate and drop him over the gate onto the sidewalk. And that's what kicks us off right there. And this is before the helicopters. We're on 71st in Normandy. And it seemed like the police just magnified quickly, right? And they're 3 deep in a car, right? But for every car with 3 of them pulled up, it seemed like 5 homies showed up. And it started, we're on the west side of Florence and they're on the east side of Florence. To this day, I don't know how the switch happened, but we ended up on the east side of Normandy and them on the west side of Normandy. And it was just, we're throwing rocks and bottles, shit at them, right? And then they go into retreat mode. And us chasing their cars, throwing shit at them, is how we ended up on Florence and Normandy.
And this is where Reginald Denny.
Yes.
So okay, so then at this time helicopters are out because they saw that happen.
Right.
Okay. So you were there when that kick happened.
Yes.
So why y'all fuck with Reginald?
Anybody that came through that intersection that wasn't black
That's
got the business.
So my boy in his truck just working, and they open the door, pull him out, and kick it.
Who actually is a good man.
Reginald.
Yes.
You met him?
Yes.
Talked to him?
Yes.
And he's like, it's cool?
I asked him, because I got this burning question. Why did you stop? You came through that intersection in the biggest thing on the streets. And his response was, I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't know what was going on.
That's crazy. And do you feel like that moment is what sparked the entire thing?
No. As we're out there on Florence and Normandy, right? I remember looking around because I want to see smoke and shit coming from elsewhere.
Okay.
Right? It was after Denny gets hit with the brick. I see this white guy, right? He's out there taking pictures, right? And I'm thinking to myself, they're going to kill this dude. So I walk up on him and I ask him, who do you work for? And he tells me the New York Times. And I said, where's your car at? And he says, it's parked down there. Ironically enough, his car was parked in front of Football's house, right? And I tell him, I'm going to walk you to your car. But after that, you're on your own. In my documentary, there's footage. I walk him to his car. It's a Volvo. When we get to his car, there's people on his car kicking the windshield out, stomping on it, right? I get him to his car, get him in his car, right? He gets out of there. But I take his camera because he'd been out there at ground level taking pictures, right? But he was swift. He took the film out. Took the film out. Yeah. But I had his camera for years. My son played with that camera for years.
So you still have it?
No.
That's like that. You could get some on eBay with that. So that you don't think that. So when does everybody hit the streets and rioting begin?
After that, with the Times reporter, me and my crew leave, and we head to the Foot Locker on Manchester. Right? We pull up, right? Look in the Foot Locker. They have no idea because they're in there looking at music videos, right? They have no idea what's going on. So I tell them, look, don't go in there snatching shit. Just watch this, right? We go in. Dude comes up, hey, can I help you? Yeah, let me get 2 pair of these, a pair of those, tell him my size, right? Now, while he's in the back getting the shoes, right, I'm folding shit over my arm, right? He brings the shoes out, you want to try them on? No, I'll take them, right? And I just turn around and walk out, right? But everybody else that's with me, they still just kind of like, he really gonna do this, right? So now they go to grab shit, right? But anyway, when we come out, that's when we see the homies going to the Western Surplus across the street. Fuck this shit.
But they not in there with guns. Like, hold up.
Where, in the Surplus?
The people that own the surplus or work there.
No, the homies was in there with guns. When you walked into the Surplus, it was a homie immediately standing on the counter with some heavy shit. If you was from A-Tray, gun department. Anywhere else, you could be from anywhere else. You could have been from 60s, 90s, wherever. You can go over there and get you some camping gear, whatever else you need, right? But you can't go to the gun department.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, I saw an interview. You and Bone was talking about the riots when it was going on. So, and then I've seen you on Donahue. I've seen you, Larry King.
Yeah, 5 times.
Okay, Larry King 5 times, and Nightline
4 times.
So when do you become this media darling that everyone wants to talk to?
It was a Nightline program that Friday after the riots ended.
Okay, so the Friday after how long did the riots go on for?
Started that Wednesday afternoon, went to the Friday.
And what makes them say they want to talk to you?
Because at that time, there was a book that featured me, my brother, Bone, and Calico.
What's the name of this book?
Do or Die.
Okay, and it featured you guys, and so
yes,
at this time you guys are like some of the people that they want to talk to.
Right, they're saying gang members started the LA riots, so this is the definitive work on gangs. They contact her, the author, and she contacts us. Me and Bone do Nightline that Friday night.
And
40 million people tuned into that program. Still to this day, That's the most watched Nightline program in the history of that program.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You and Bone.
me and Bone.
So Donahue, Nightline, Larry King. Two-part question. Who gave you the best interview? And what interview do you think was the, I don't want to say most successful, but like reached the most people or like kind of had the most impact then?
I'm gonna say it was the Nightline.
40 million.
Yeah, that that was probably the most impactful. But it was the last time that I was on Nightline. I was on Nightline with the other guest was Peter Uberoth. Now, Peter Uberoth was at one point Major League Baseball commissioner
Okay.
when baseball was in trouble. He also headed the 1984 LA Olympic Committee,
Okay.
right? So they bring him in to head Rebuild LA. Right? So prior to the cameras being turned on, we're talking, I'm a huge baseball fan.
Okay.
Dude, Mickey Mantle, right? Pete Rose, right? Just a fan, right? When they turn the cameras on, I hit him with this. America's Mr. Fix It. You fix baseball. But in 1984, a lot of that money that was generated from the Olympics being here was supposed to go to the redevelopment of areas like South Central LA, which didn't see a dime of that money. Mr. Uberoff, where'd that money go?
You asked him that on TV?
Straight up. And he stumbled and said, I don't know. And I said, and now we're supposed to trust you to rebuild LA. A week later, he resigned from that post.
That's wild.
Ted Capo called me and said, you made him resign. I said, I didn't make him resign.
That's the safest route.
Right. He just wasn't the person for the job.
That's crazy. So Nightline reached the most people or had the most
Yes.
impact, and that was the best interview you feel like you had? Like Larry
Yes.
King wasn't, okay, all right. I read that in 2004, there was a welfare fraud case, right?
Yes.
But what my main concern was is you said that, or not you said, the person who wrote the article said that because you were like a 3-strike candidate, they were pressing you and trying to like give a more severe punishment that was necessary, right?
Right.
And again, even in that, my only question is, I thought that when you had or a 3-strike situation, it had to be like a violent crime to activate it to make it a 3-strike thing.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? Initially, when the police came at me, and at the time I'm living in Kern County, in Ridgecrest, right? And
They said that you had like moved out there because you were done with the shit. Like, I just want to have my family.
I wanted to raise my children somewhere where they were allowed to be children. And that was a great place to raise my children, and I'm glad that I did it.
Okay.
That day, they came at me like I robbed a bank. Like the whole police department, they got light sirens, right? And I'm pulling up in my driveway, right? And they guns the whole nine, right? And I got my youngest daughter in the car and my wife. And my daughter was so afraid that she peed on herself, right? So
That was an article.
that upset me, right? And my wife is going off, right? They write me a ticket, but they come at me like I just robbed a bank
They did all that to write you a ticket?
and had no idea what the charges were. I'm asking them, what are the charges? And they tell me, we don't know. We don't.
That's crazy.
It's just me.
But is that because when they type your name in, the whole thing? Okay.
So I go to court in Bakersfield. It's a misdemeanor. Go to court in
That's why I'm like,
Bakersfield.
what the fuck? Yeah.
And they offer me 60 days. I don't even know what this is about. No, I'm not taking 60 days. Right?
You would have did the 60 days up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time I go to court, 2 weeks later, they drop the charges.
Everything.
Everything.
Okay.
Okay.
That you didn't even know what they were to begin with.
To begin with.
Okay.
Following week, my wife goes to court on a ticket that she got that day that they gave me a ticket.
Okay.
They gave her a ticket for obstruction of justice. I go to court with her. Get to the courthouse, and the bailiff says, hey, Kershawn, I don't know what's going on. But I've been told that when you and your wife show up, I got to arrest both of you guys on felony charges. What are the charges? I don't know. Okay, man, hold up. Let me go home, set up a babysitter, and we'll come back. Dude was like, you gonna come back? It's a small town, man. Yeah, I'm coming back, right? Go home and I set up bail for me and my wife. And we go back and they arrest us, right? Drive us to Bakersfield, to the county jail, Bakersfield, right? We bail out. Charges are welfare fraud. First of all, I'm not on welfare. It's my wife's case and the kids are on it. Not me. They're saying I'm working 8 hours in Ridgecrest, driving 3.5 hours to Los Angeles, and working 8 hours down here. Every day I'm doing this. So for 22 hours, I'm working and driving.
Every day.
Every day. We go to court. First time we go to court in Bakersfield, the two of us, they tell me if I take 16 months in the penitentiary, they'll drop all the charges against my wife. No. This is Kern County. 2 weeks later, go to court. New deal. 34 months in the penitentiary for me. 90 days for my wife.
The deal got worse.
Consider it keeps getting worse. This is Kern County.
Okay.
Next time I go to court, they tell me I'm going into custody because it's a probation violation.
You're on probation?
I am on probation. But I tell my public defender, they can't violate my probation for a case that allegedly took place before I was on probation.
That makes sense to me.
He goes and talks to the district attorney. District attorney agrees with him. My public defender comes back and tells me they're going to take you into custody because they're saying your bail wasn't high enough. And basically what you're telling me is that I was going to jail anyway today.
Yeah, no matter what the reason is.
So they take me into custody, jack my bail up, right? Now, we have been going to court every 2 weeks. Now they give us a court date a month and a half. What they're trying to do is, he's sitting in jail, he'll take the deal. Right? But I bail out that same night.
Okay.
Right? So when we go back to court a month and a half later, and I'm out of custody, it's an immediate recess, right? And when court reconvenes, it's now a 3 strikes case.
That's crazy.
I don't have any strikes.
At all?
No.
So how's it a 3-strike case?
That's what I'm saying.
Man, listen. Okay, go ahead.
So I tell my public defender, I don't have any strikes. He goes, talks to the district attorney. District attorney tells him, yeah, he got the murder conviction and 4 counts of attempted murder. Dude, doesn't make sense that I got to school you on your job, right? But here's the thing, right? You can't use one adjudication for all my strikes, first of all. Secondly, you can't go below the age of 16 for strikes. Right? He goes and tells the district attorney that, and the district attorney tells him I can do whatever the hell I wanted to. Now I'm looking at 48 years of life.
For welfare fraud.
For welfare fraud.
And what ultimately ends up happening?
We pay the money that they say we owe. Now, mind you, when it was a misdemeanor, it was $2,000, but now it's a felony, it's $4,000, almost $5,000, right? We pay that. They give me 90 days, and they give my wife 30 days. But they take my wife into custody first.
Before you?
Yes. And they say, if you don't pay the $4,000 within the 30 days, we're going to hold her for 6 months and we're going to take your children.
Damn.
Yeah.
So basically, Kern County was like, we going to get him some type of something.
Right.
Excuse me. So you end up going to do the 90 days in Kern County?
Yeah. And that I ended up only doing 2 weeks.
The little 10% kick out type shit?
No, I got out on work release.
Oh, bet. Okay. But so
But look, this was the kicker. 3 years later, I catch a domestic case. Me and my wife get into it, right? And after previously dealing with Kern County, I'm not doing that again with a public defender. But Kern County won't accept a lawyer from LA. I mean, he can have the case, but they're going to fuck you over.
Okay.
Right. So I'm calling around Kern County for a lawyer, right? I call this one office. Secretary answers the phone. I tell her my name, da 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 da. The lawyer gets on the phone and he says, "Hey, Kershaw, how you doing?" But he says it like we know each other. And I asked him, "Do we know each other?" And he says, "No. But when you came through a couple years ago, I was working for the district attorney's office." He said, "You were to talk to the district attorney's office. They were going to do you at all costs. But you threw a wrench in their program when you got the media involved." He said, then they didn't know how to respond.
So when that was going on, you made the call to the reporter, like, this is what's going on?
Yeah. My first call, believe this or not, was to Christopher Darden, who was the prosecutor on the OJ case. Was it the OJ case or the Rodney King case? But he's a defense attorney, right? Now, my attorney, who had been my attorney since '92, had already told me, I can't help you. I'm not dealing with Kern County, right? Which led me to call Darden, right? And Darden told me the same thing. I'm not dealing with Kern County, but I know people up there in the district attorney's office, so let me make a call, right? Called up there, and all that did was piss them off. I mean, like, that's part of the court record. You called Christopher Darden? Like, yeah.
You had a personal relationship with him?
No, I didn't know him.
So they came and did the piece, and that's what kind of like shined some light on it. And they're like,
That's what
hold
made
up.
him back off the 3 strikes. Because
Okay.
I had literally wrote a letter to the judge. Being that the district attorney was steamrolling my public defender, I wrote a letter to the judge, right? Now, Kern County, the courthouse in Bakersfield, it got them old style type of mailboxes that are just boxes, right? And I literally put the letter in her box.
Okay.
Right. So I know she got it. Right. And she never even acted like there was no acknowledgement of that letter.
Okay.
Right. She was in on it. Right. But in that letter, I cited prosecutorial misconduct, ineffective counsel on my part, and the fact that I don't have any strikes.
That's crazy that they would say 3-strike case and you don't have any strikes at all.
They just ignored it.
Thank goodness for the media, man, because that shit would have turned out bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the article too. Like, it's crazy.
Kern County sends more people to prison under the 3 strikes law than any other county in the state.
That's where Delano was at, right?
Yes.
That's where I was at reception.
Kern County has more prisons than any other county in the state.
I read that too.
And
that's their moneymaker.
That's their moneymaker.
Yeah.
Right? They also have more convictions overturned on appeal than any other county in the state.
They need to do a documentary on them. Investigate their ass.
It's a book written about it called Mean Justice. If you ever get a chance, read that book.
Mean Justice?
It'll blow you away.
Okay, say no more. Let me put that right here so I can remember, because my memory isn't the best.
Mind you, when they're trying to give me 48, but they're trying to strike me out and give me 48 years of life for welfare fraud, on the other end of the hall, there's a murder case.
Okay.
Now, Kern County, the district attorney was a homosexual. Second in charge at the district attorney's office was a homosexual.
So they're in their feelings.
Right. The second in charge, Stephen Towser, he's messing with this young 18-year-old, right? Boy, right? Who happens to be the son of one of the investigators for the district attorney's office. So every time this kid gets arrested, drug charges, Towser gets him out.
Okay.
Right? So finally, kid's dad tells Towser, leave my son alone. The next time he goes to jail, let him stay. We've done rehab. None of that has worked. Let him stay in jail. Maybe he'll kick the drugs, right? Kid goes to jail. Towser gets him out. But instead of the kid going home, now he's living with Towser. 2 weeks after being out, he's driving Towser's car, gets into an accident and kills himself.
Damn.
His dad goes over to Towser's house and stabs him to death. Like, stabbed him 10 times in the head, left a knife in the head, like, yeah, I did this. I told him.
Shit.
They don't want all of this to come out. So they offer him a deal for 12 years for killing the second man in charge at the district attorney's office. But down the hall, they're trying to give me 48 years of life for welfare fraud.
And you knew this was happening at that time, or you
Yes.
found out later? Damn. That's crazy. You went to Long Beach State?
Yes, I did.
What'd you graduate from Long Beach State for?
World history. I wanted to be a
You really love
teacher.
history.
Yes. But initially, when I went there, it was with the goal of becoming a lawyer.
You on campus with it?
Yeah. To help my people, right? So after my first semester, I thought about all the sorry ass teachers that I had that were waiting for 3 o'clock, just like I was waiting for 3 o'clock. And to be a lawyer and try to help is, one, they already caught up. So I changed my major with emphasis on teaching, figuring I can catch them before they get in the system.
But I think that'd be the best way to do it.
But murder conviction, they said no, it's not happening for you.
The conviction as a child, they still tripping? Well, I guess I could see how they'd want to go back that far to okay. Damn. You were the head of security for a Tupac tour?
Yes.
What tour was that?
That was the I Get Around tour.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got groupie love?
Yeah. Every city.
So how many dates was on the tour? How do you even meet Tupac? How you get to be the tour?
Tupac saw me on television. I don't know if it was a documentary. I don't know if it was
That sound
on
like
one
Pac.
of the news programs. But he tells his manager that he wants to meet me. I know his manager.
That's that Nightline.
Had been knowing his manager, but didn't know that he was Tupac's manager.
Okay.
Not my business. You know what I mean? We deal with each other on political
Okay.
thing, right? So he calls me and he tells me, hey man, we're up here at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills. I'm with Tupac, I'm his manager, and he wants to meet you. For what? That was for what? And he says, well, if you come up here, I'm gonna let him explain that to you. Right? So now I'm curious, right? Not because he's Tupac.
Why would Tupac want to talk to me?
Right, but there's his mother, and then there's his stepfather, right?
When you go meet him?
And this is the political circle that I run in.
Oh.
Right. So
Okay.
I go, right? And he's doing press releases for Poetic Justice. And he comes out and he says, hey man, I appreciate you coming. I know you got questions, you want to know why, I want to talk to you. I said, yeah, I got a pressing question. Like right now, pressing. Shoot. Did you fuck Janet Jackson, bro? That was my pressing question.
What'd he say?
He said no. He started laughing. He said no. She made him take an AIDS test. But we were super cool after
She made him take an AIDS test and he didn't even...
Before the kiss. They kissed.
Oh, yeah. I heard. Okay. Miss Jackson. So you were on tour, headlining security.
Yeah.
That's
It was an interesting tour because we started in Atlanta. Every year in Atlanta, they used to have this big record industry thing called Jack the Rapper.
I heard about that.
And this particular year, it was interesting. We were there, right? Snoop, the Dog Pound, Suge was there, right? And of course, Snoop and Dre did that song on The Chronic where they were talking about Luke from the 2 Live Crew. Right? They're there deep. Bad Boy is there deep, right? There's no problems, right? Suge comes up to me in the lobby of the Marriott. He says, hey, Monster, I know we from different sides. I don't know this dude, never met him. He says, I know we from different sides, but I want to ask you if you guys can go on stage with Snoop and the Dogg Pound. Luke and them are here. You know, they might trip. It's a power in number things, right? And we all from LA, right? I told him I'll run it by Pac. Pac says, cool, we with it. Pac don't know Suge. I want to do Pac. Pac says, fuck it, let's do it, right? So I go back to Suge and I tell him, cool, we're going to do it. But if something jumps off, my responsibility is Tupac. So we moving with Tupac. That's it and that's all. We're not involved in your bullshit, right? It's cool, right? And that was it, you know, but no problems. But what was interesting that took place at that time was 2 Live Crew thinking that they got somebody from Death Row and they killed this dude. And that dude was actually from Bad Boy. Bad Boy thought Death Row did it. That's the beef.
That's the beef?
That's the beef.
Talking about with Wolf, right?
Yep. That's the beef.
Damn. Oh. Well, all right then. Okay. Well, since hold on, let me ask you this. I feel like I know what you're gonna say already, but how you feel about the Kendrick and Drake?
You know, here's the thing, right? It might be good for them in terms of units being sold, but there's more important shit to be going on for us to be focused on a rap beef like that, right? Now, push come to shove at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Kendrick because it's a LA thing, right? At the same time, and this is just my opinion, I kind of feel like they're hating on Drake a little bit.
I mean,
You know, dude has been very successful,
that's what I said.
and it sounds like a lot of hate.
They call me crazy though.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of hate. But again, there's more pressing issues, particularly
Facts.
in the black community, that needs to be dealt with than focusing on a rap beef.
That's factuals. Did you have a relationship with Lil Sodi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think he was in line to be a star, or do you think he was gonna be like just your average LA guy, like not even hood, but like LA locally known, got some bread, but
Well, he was already LA locally owned with a little bread, right? The potential to be a star was there.
okay,
No question about that.
okay. You said
But see, here's the thing, right? Sodi was a gang member, straight across.
okay.
Right? You can't be a successful drug dealer and an active gang member. Because as a successful drug dealer, you're going to take losses. As an active gang member, you're going to retaliate on them losses hard. It's the same with rapping and being an active gang member.
Okay.
Right? If you're going to do this, focus on this, right? But the two don't go together.
So as you're saying, like an industry person would take a industry loss and be like, you know what, cut ties, I'm moving on. Whereas someone in a gang member is like, I'm about to get him because he played with me.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. You've never done a book, released a book?
No.
Nothing.
Just a documentary.
Just a documentary. Is there any book you want to do or you might do?
Yeah, there is.
So that's in the works.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's dope. And is there going to be any type of biopic like everybody else has? Well, those are typically musicians and stuff, but is there anything that's like, you know, someone's about to portray you and tell your story, or maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know the people.
I do.
You know the people, and you know I got craft service ready for you.
Hey,
Come on.
you already know.
I got you.
You already know.
Come on, we gonna have to start jumping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that's what I really had, man. I really appreciate you for coming to sit down, man. I remember when I seen you on set, I'm like, I want to do interviews. I know the homie gonna fuck with me.
Yeah,
That'll be
of
number
course.
one.
Let me say this. It's 2024, right? I will say that this gangbanging is like smoking crack. To the kids out there who think that they want to get involved in this shit today, it's no different than smoking crack. You know what the outcome is going to be. It's death or the penitentiary. This is not it. It's not it for you. It's not it for our community. It's time to rebuild our community, not destroy it. I just wanted to say that.
And that's factuals, man, because I look at it and I'm like you say, right? I've never wanted to try crack because I know what's gonna happen.
Right. You know
Right.
the outcome.
So I'd be a fool to say, let me hit this thing and
Right.
you know what I mean? And
Right.
it's the same with gangbanging.
Same gangbanging. You know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah. You might as well stay out there. And I feel like there are just so many opportunities to get money and have an incredible life now. But when we was coming up, we didn't have all this access to everything. Like you can sit from home and own 5 bands.
Look, check this out. Going back to middle school, just want to say this, right? I dropped out in the 7th grade. The second time I got kicked out in the 7th grade, right? I just said, fuck it, I'm not going. Right? But I would go to school still every day, right? And hang with the homies. But after school, when everybody's talking about what they're going to do, and it came around, Lil Monster, what you going to do? Go in the library. When the homies couldn't find me at home or on the turf, find me at the library. Because to me, education never stops. And no, I'm not attending school. I'm not in my classes. But education don't stop.
And a book is the easiest way. You just got to read it.
Right.
At your own pace.
At your own pace.
Man, that's it. So for sure, man. Again, thank you for pulling up, man. I appreciate you, Brody, for real. Thank you.